Hi boys and girls, welcome to Everyday Math Lesson 2.3, Doubles Facts. The materials that you'll need today, notebook paper, your pencil, math journal, and your calculator just for a couple math boxes. So if you don't have a calculator for today's lesson, that's okay. Let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is go over our math boxes from the previous lesson. So this is Math Journal, page 26. If you're noticing that you have any mistakes, please fix those with your pencil and eraser. So for question 1, it was asking us to count by threes. So you should have had 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. For question 2, fill in the missing numbers. We had 455, 456, 457, and they gave us 458. For question 3, you could use whatever unit you wanted. I chose to use fish today. Then to solve, I know 4 plus 3 is 7, 10 minus 7 is 3, 5 plus 4 is 9, and 8 minus 3 is 5. For question number 4, you're showing $1 3 different ways using quarters, dimes, and nickels. There's lots of possible answers for this, so you might have the same ways that I do, or if you have something different, that's okay too, as long as they equal $1. The first way I had was 4 quarters. Then I had 3 quarters, which 1 quarter is 25. Then I had 50, 75 cents. Then a dime, which brought me to 85, 95, and nickel, that brought me to $1. The last way I had 2 quarters, which I know is 50 cents. And then I had 5 dimes, which is also 50 cents. 50 cents plus 50 cents gives me $1. For question number 5, Mrs. Satt's class's favorite colors. And which color is the most popular? I can see that red has the most tallies, so red is the most popular. For question 6, fill in the circle that names the number. A 5 in the ones place, a 6 in the hundreds place, and a 3 in the tens place. That number is 635, which is letter C. We will next use our whiteboard and marker, or you could also use notebook paper and pencil. If the speed is ever too fast, please pause as often as needed. For this first part, you can just listen as I talk about these words. So we need to talk about 4 different words before we get into today's lesson. One word is sum. And when we're talking about sum, this is when we're adding 2 or more numbers to get our answer. So what our answer is when we're adding is also known as the sum. Today we're going to be looking at a chart. And in that chart, we're going to see rows, which go across. We're going to see columns, which go up and down. And we'll also see a diagonal, which is like a slant. Before we get into our math journal, can you name the doubles facts that go from 0 to 10? And if you're unsure what I mean, thinking about like 0 plus 0 equals 0, or 1 plus 1 equals 2. Can you keep going and write down your doubles facts up to 10? Press pause and then play when you're ready to hear more. So second graders, hopefully you had the doubles facts that look kind of like this. If not, why don't you write down these problems, solve them, and then press play. If you're ready, we can talk about these answers. So 2 plus 2 we know is 4. 3 plus 3 is 6. 4 plus 4 is 8. 5 plus 5 is 10. 6 plus 6 is 12. 7 plus 7 is 14. 8 plus 8 is 16. 9 plus 9 is 18. And 10 plus 10 is 20. Can you keep your board looking like this? Let's use what we have at our whiteboard when we're using our table in our math journal. So can you open up your math journal to page 27, and we're going to use both our math journal and our whiteboard. So this is an addition, subtraction, facts table. And so this is how it works. It's going to have rows and it's going to have columns. So if I was going to practice 7 plus 9, I could look in my top row for my 7, and I could go all the way down until I see that 9. Now where 7 and 9 meet gives me my answer. So I can see that my answer is 16. Let's try one more. If I have 5, now I like to go over first for 5, and then I go down to my 8. And I know 5 plus 8 is 13. Now if I did it the other way, and I went down first to 5, and then I went over to 8, notice how I still get the same answer. I still get 13. So I want you in your math journal to circle the sums for the double facts. And I'll get you started with the first couple. So if we look at 0 plus 0, we know that is 0. If I do one more with you, and I know that 1 plus 1 is 2, well, I'm going to circle that sum. I'm going to circle the 2. Circle the 2. Can you press pause and solve your doubles facts? And then press play when you're ready to hear the answers? Press pause now. All right, second graders, so I bet you had 2 plus 2, which was 4, and then 3 plus 3, which gave you 6. 4 plus 4 gave you 8. 5 plus 5 gave you 10. 6 plus 6 gave you 12. 7 plus 7 gave you 14. The sum for 8 plus 8 was 16. And lastly, the sum for 9 plus 9 was 18. What do you notice about this? Yes, if you said that you're noticing that your sums are making a diagonal line, that is the pattern you should have seen. So this is a nice tool for us to use while we're working on figuring out our addition and subtraction facts. We're going to turn now to the next math journal page, looking at page 28. And we have some dominoes that have some missing halves. So can you fill in the missing half and solve each of these problems? Why don't you press pause and solve, and then press play when you're ready to talk about your answers. All right, second graders. So for number 1, I had double 2, and so notice how I put in my 2 dots, and my answer 2 plus 2 is 4. For question 2, I had double 3. I added in my 3 dots, and 3 plus 3 is 6. Then I had double 4. I added my 4 dots. 4 plus 4 is 8. I had double 5. This time they gave me 4 dots, so I only had to add 1 dot in the center. And then 5 plus 5 was 10. So again, I just want to make sure my dominoes look the same on both sides. And sometimes I don't have to do all of the dots. Sometimes they give them for me. Let's look at our next row. Double 6, 6 plus 6 is 12. Double 7, 7 plus 7 is 14. Same thing here, I only had to include 1 dot. Double 8, 8 plus 8 is 16. This time I just included 2 dots on my domino. Double 9, 9 plus 9 is 18, and I filled in 3 dots to finish my domino. For the bottom, we want to find the total number of dots. If you haven't already, can you press pause, solve the bottom, and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer? So for question 9, we had 4 plus 5, which equals 9. And notice how they have the dominoes for me. So I did not need to add any dots for that one. Then I had 6 plus 5, which equals 11. And, oops, my computer's being a little goofy today. Thank you for your patience. 6 plus 7, which equals 13. And 8 plus 7, which equals 15. If you notice that you had any mistakes on these, please fix yours with your pencil and eraser. The last thing that we'll talk about today is our math box page, and this is page 30. So we'll talk about the directions, then I'll ask that you complete the page on your own. When you're all done, take a picture and add that picture to Seesaw for your classroom teacher, and we will go over this page in our next video. Looking at question number 1, Julie had 10 crayons. Rosa gave her 8 more crayons. How many crayons in all? So tell me the answer of how many crayons and then also the number model. What two numbers are you adding? For question number 2, you could use your calculator if you want. You could also just use your brain, but you're showing 25 two different ways, but the 5 is broken. So try not to use a 5 when you're coming up with your 2 answers you're adding. For question number 3, count back by 5s, starting at 45. And then it's asking you if you can keep going. So can you think about where it would go? You're going to get some negative numbers. Think about what's 5 less than 0. Write less than, greater than, or equal to for number 4. Draw the hands to show 1030. And then I did a couple boxes to kind of help you out with this one for number 6. Kyra has 2 dimes and 3 nickels in her left pocket. She has 1 quarter and 2 pennies in her right pocket. How much money does she have? If it's helpful to draw the 2 pockets like I did, please use that as a strategy. All right, I will see you next time.